All right, so I'm going to talk to you about what Elon Musk just said about Twitter and permanent bans. He said yesterday in an interview that once he gets full control over Twitter, he's going to remove President Trump's permanent ban on the platform. Former CEO Jack Dorsey said as much the same thing, that permanent bans should not have been done and that it was a mistake to remove Trump's account on Twitter. And Elon Musk went a step further by saying that this was actually immoral. And what's interesting about this whole thing is what we're seeing is a shift in the culture where I believe corporate America is beginning to realize that going woke means you in fact do go broke, and that listening to a small minority of blue checkmark wackos does nothing for your bottom line. That people, all they do in the end is just tune you out and not take part in your product or your service, or they go off and build a service for themselves, as what President Trump did with his Truth Social platform. And so what I find really even more interesting is that we're seeing this whole thing happening across the board. We're seeing wokeism reversing itself. I've talked about before how wokeism is not sustainable by definition, because what wokeism says is that everything that you stand for has to be what you stand for, and anything else must be removed. And that can only get more and more narrow, because as you exclude more people, the people who are excluded become a much bigger majority. And before you know it, you're standing around and you're there by yourself with the slim population that somewhat sees eye to eye with you, at least for now. Because eventually, you're going to make someone upset about something. And if you have this mentality anyway, that you can't have discussion with someone else that has a different opinion than you, then you already have deeper fundamental issues. Psychological, ideological, spiritual, who knows, but it's not healthy. I mean, they've done studies where this has been done, where they say if you are in an echo chamber, that all that does is create more activist mentality who don't have the ability to cope, who don't have the ability to think critically. They become more radicalized and more just not wanting to be part of a cohesive society. They want to go into padded rooms, or they want to have safe spaces, or they want to ban everything because they themselves can't be around anything that's different to what they may think or believe. On the other side of that, the studies show, and this is from the University of Chicago, by the way, studies have shown that if you are in a group where you are presented with people who have different ideas than you, then what ends up happening is that you end up coming out of that discussion with new ideas. And you end up saying, you know what, this may be something that I didn't consider, and therefore your ideas become more inclusive, and people take the solution or the idea that makes the most sense, that's more thought out, that has a thought process of critical analysis. And those are the people that end up being more healthy and better adjusted. And those people make the best customers. The problem is that when you have a radicalized agenda of the left who want to indoctrinate, who they basically all they want to do is to get you into these echo chambers so that they can get you thinking one way, so they can target what they want to target towards you, whether it be a good or service they want to sell to you, or a march or rally that they want you to go to, or some sort of message they want you to spew on their behalf. That is what's going on there. But at the end of the day, it's not healthy, and it leads to more chaos. And one thing that Elon Musk was saying is that by eliminating President Trump, you didn't get rid of his voice. What you did was you just moved his voice somewhere else. And ultimately, it's dangerous. and immoral, and he even used the word stupid. And so a lot of people are saying, you know, Elon Musk, he's this and he's that. And, you know, he may be these things that people have said about him on the conservative side. But I've said, can we at least come together and understand and recognize, and even better yet, appreciate the fact that coming after Twitter the way he is from a free speech standpoint helps everybody. Because even if you have a horrible idea and you have bad intentions or bad motives, free speech can be the one thing that mitigates against all of that. Because when you have tyranny, when you have governments that are trying to do something that's not good, what do? They shut down communication, they shut down free speech, so they can continue to do the things that they want to do, and that is not healthy. So free speech, we all should agree that the founding fathers of this country, putting in the First Amendment, is a critical aspect to our society, and it's what has made America great. In fact, going back to those ideas I said before, of coming up with these ideas that are on the playing field of thought and discussion and interactivity, these things ultimately lead to a better society. And really what it comes down to is, this is what I think the left doesn't like, is the fact that people ultimately come back to becoming more and more conservative, because ultimately that is what works. High taxation, regulation, suppression of ideas and thoughts is not what has made this country great. And I think the left understands that, and the only way that they can compete in the playing field of ideas is to suppress ideas. Because I've said many times, their ideas suck. And so I am looking forward to seeing what Twitter does from this point going forward. And will it actually go into other areas of social media, Instagram, who knows, Facebook, you know, where they're suppressing the actual ideas that have made this country what it is. And we're seeing right now, as we speak, a reversal of wokeism right before our very eyes. And I find that very, very refreshing. So what are your thoughts on Elon Musk saying that Trump's access to Twitter is going to be brought back? And do you think that other organizations, corporate media, will do the same thing because they're seeing that it's profitable to have all opinions be recognized when it comes to their platforms? Let me know in the comments below. I'd be curious to know what you think. If you like what we do on this channel, we take pop culture and politics and filter it to you right, then please check out some more videos that we have for you right